Hey everyone, Robert Villanueva here. Just want to talk to you today about prospecting. It's one of the most important things that we should be doing every single day. I'm sure you're going to hear different videos, different situations, and different things about what we should be doing throughout the day, what are things we shouldn't be doing throughout the day. There's 5 key things that we should be doing every single day. Number 1 is, of course, working on our skills. Number 2 is the prospecting that we do. Number 3 is the lead follow-up that we're doing. Number 4 is negotiating contracts and pre-qualifying. The 5th one is, of course, going on appointments. That's the entire purpose of our day. Now today, of course, we're going to be talking about prospecting and the benefits of prospecting. So what I want you to do is the very first point is think about the following affirmations as you begin to prospect each day. Okay, that's I am efficient, I am effective, I am productive, and I am profitable. I want you to think about that, because that's something that's going to be really important as you're going about your journey in today, this week, this month, this year in regards to prospecting. You always want to have some version of affirmations that's going to allow you the opportunity to think positively versus, of course, the amount of times that we're going to get beat up in prospecting. We all know prospecting is a little bit of work from the direction of mindset. So the last thing we want to do is be in a position where we're mentally defeated before we even begin. Move on to the next point. To make your prospecting time better, make your mornings media free. Now, this is really important. Now, there's no TV, no radio, no newspapers, no emails, and no voicemails. I don't want you having any social media. I don't want you having anything that's going to do anything from a negative direction. And I already know this is a very common thing for a lot of realtors. What do? They wake up, they look at their social media, get into the office, they check their email, they check their voicemail, they check all of these things that basically puts you in this negative state. Now, I'm not saying don't do any of that. However, the timing of it is absolutely vital. I mean, probably an example I can give you is if I said I want you to go ahead and, run a mile. Okay? And before you run a mile, the very first thing you do is you eat a cheeseburger. You eat a cheeseburger and then you go run that mile. How's that mile gonna feel? As you can see, the timing of doing a certain activity can sometimes be impactful with what it is that you're wanting to accomplish. Okay, so really understand the importance of that. The next point, we must work to strengthen the link between prospecting and achieving the goals that we've set. That's an important part. And the reason why that's an important part is because a lot of times we are picking up the phone, we're knocking on doors, we're going through and doing all of our versions of prospecting, but we don't understand why. And this is an important part because, trust me, I get it. Been there, done that. I understand the struggles mentally, sometimes emotionally, and heck, even sometimes physically of going out and prospecting. The connection is basically, why am I knocking on this door? Why am I picking up the phone and calling this person? Well, the reason we're doing that is because, of course, the goals that we've set. Now, the goals that we've set is a really important factor to all of our prospecting. So that way, when of course we do get the negative response, we get the door slammed in our face, we get the screw you, F you, the all of those things, you remind yourself as to why you're doing this. Now, in the next point, we're going to be talking about we must make a commitment to build our business through daily efficient prospecting. Now, as far as this daily efficient prospecting, it's an important part to growing your business, and the key word is doing it every single day, and of course doing it efficiently. The example you'll hear me here from time to time is that, of course, of like working out. So if you were to go to the gym once, a week, 3 times in a month, what kind of results are you going to get? You're not going to get good results. What you need to do is you need to go to the gym at least 5 days a week, preferably 4 or 5, and even 6 days a week. If you're doing this consistently over an extended period of time, you're going to get the results. It's the exact same thing when it comes time to prospecting. So not only doing it daily, but doing it efficiently. Because I've had coaching clients where, as I'm going through and talking about the amount of contacts they need to make, for example, 30 or 40, and they do it, but the problem though is that they're doing it and finishing that at 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, or 5 o'clock. Doing it in an efficient manner is going to be vital. Moving on to the next thing. We must determine where our business comes from. Okay, where it's come from, before we decide where we're going to get our business. Now, create a simple system for sourcing all of your closings. On this part, again, where did we get business from? Okay. Last year I closed 15 deals, and of the 15 deals, 5 came from here, 5 came from over here, and 5 came from this other place. And then there's the second part, and that second part is, of course, where we're going to get business from. So I got 5, 5, and 5. What I want to do is I want to take that 5 and turn it into 9. I want to take that 5 and turn it into 7. I want to take that 5 and turn it into 7. But I also want to add another source and add 3 deals, and then another source and add 2 deals. That is what we call as a source recap. And then this part is what we call as our forecast. And the important factor to that is so that you are gauging and be more strategic in the growing of your business versus putting your head down January 1st and then all of a sudden looking up December 31st and going, what did I get? Now you're going after business a lot more strategically. Now, our business generally comes from waiting, buying, or going out and finding it. However, 80% should come from finding it. Okay, now the finding it part of it is knocking on doors, picking up the phone, calling our friends, calling our family, calling our database, calling expires, for sale by owners, expires, all of these people. Now, that's where you want to get most of your business from. Where's the other 20% going to come from? Well, ideally it'll be coming from a passive source. And what passive source is? Well, it could be sign calls, it could be, your friends or your family calling you. It could just be paid business, anything that's going to require you to be, in a sense, waiting for that phone to ring. We don't ever want to lead with this source. That's the part where our business goes like this. We get that roller coaster, that yo-yo effect, and we don't want that. Okay, so you want to be able to build your business through something that's going to be finding it. The next thing is create an efficient pre-prospecting routine. Let me give you an example. The first thing is get up at a specific time every single day. Question is, what time should I be getting up? Well, it's totally up to you in regards to how you want to go after your day. But I'd encourage you to look at somewhere in that 4 a.m. Yep, you heard it right, 4 a.m. Maybe even as late as 5 a.m. Okay, now why is it important? Because most top producers are getting in, waking up at that time, because between the hours of 5 and 6, they're doing some version of exercise. Working on meditation, affirmations, they're doing all of these different things. Between 6 and 7, they're getting ready. From 7 to 8, they're either getting in the office, preparing themselves for the day. So getting up at a specific time is going to allow you to create good habits. And of course, the good habits that we create is what allows us to be, again, consistent and, for that matter, successful. The next thing is do some form of exercise and stretching. It's basically what we were just talking about. Whether you're going to be in, a fitness buff, some fitness guru, run 10 miles a day, or just simply getting up and doing some form of yoga, stretching, anything that's going to allow the blood to flow. This is important because of the fact what you want to do is, our body in motion is what creates the emotion. And from that, that's what gives us that head start. Okay? It's kind of like old school, trying to start a car when it's cold makes it a little bit tough. So what you want to do is you want to be able to get that, your engine going. It's probably the best example I can give you. Have a healthy breakfast. It may not necessarily be anything large or anything of specific, but having a good breakfast, having something that's going to be able to fuel your body. Now, this is an important factor because a lot of times we'll find ourselves, going throughout the day and realizing, oh shoot, it's 2 o'clock and I haven't had anything to eat. It's hard to build your business that way. Next thing is, of course, do your affirmations. Do them early. I would encourage you to look at doing your affirmations at various times of the day. So maybe you wake up and you say 3, 4, 5, 7, 10 affirmations. Maybe when you're done with your workout, you do another handful of affirmations. Maybe when you're done getting ready, you do some more affirmations. Or maybe even you do them while you're showering. You do some more affirmations on the way into the office. We are basically wired to be in this constant state of negativity. Okay, whether you're a negative person or not, that's just the way our mind works. It's in this basically a protective state, if you want to call it that. And of course, in that protective state, we're thinking about all the what ifs, what could haves, all of those negative things. So we have to naturally combat that. And one of the ways we naturally combat that is going to be our affirmations. Arrive at the office at a specific time each morning. I'm going to encourage you to arrive at the office at 7 something. 7 o'clock, 7:05, 7:10, 7:30, 7:45, 7:55. Be at the office at 7 something. That's, again, with what top producers will be doing. The other thing is you want to clear your desk and get your prospect numbers prepared. Regardless of the source you're going after, prepare it. Get it ready, get it good to go. And then that way when you're prospecting, you already have everything at the ready, okay, versus trying to get yourself organized. Introduce some version of role play. When you role play with enthusiasm. Okay, now the reason we want you to role play with enthusiasm, I'm sure you've heard of the saying that the enthusiasm sells. Okay, so for those of you that have gotten to know me on a personal level, you'll notice that I'm usually pretty low key. I'm not this high strung person, but the minute that I get in front of a seller, a buyer, I'm on the phone, I'm prospecting, I'm at the door, I become a different person. Okay, because why? Well, nobody wants to be sold by boring old Robert. Okay, I get that. That's my personality style. But when it comes time to selling, it's showtime. And I want you to think of that. So regardless of whether you're sitting there telling me, that's just not me, who cares? I don't want you to be you. I want you to be enthusiastic. I want you to be somebody who's going to be excited to be a salesperson. And of course, with that being said, have fun prospecting. Have fun prospecting. We get beat up a lot. And the last thing I want you to do is be in a position where you're mentally getting beat up one after another, after another, after another, after another. Have fun with it. I don't know, maybe just simply a silly little game. You know, if somebody hangs up on you, you just say, hey, thanks for the $5. Thanks for the $20. Thanks for the, every no brings me closer to a yes. Whatever that is, have fun with it. Okay? Because again, prospecting is not always going to be easy. Moving on, we must understand why prospecting is difficult at times. Okay? Now, for example, the very first thing is I don't know how to prospect. And that's fair. Okay? You get newly introduced to the business, or you're probably a veteran agent and you've never prospected. That could be a factor. That could be one of the reasons why you don't find the benefit of prospecting. But you find yourself in this position where, of course, you don't know how to prospect. Now, what else makes it difficult? I don't know what to say. That's probably the biggest thing. Because if you don't know what to say, you don't want to look or feel, of course, stupid. I get it. Hey, but the more you work on, the more you practice, the more you role play, the more confidence you'll have. And then whenever somebody gives you whatever that response is, bam, you can respond to it with ease. Or you can be the person that never prospects, never role plays, never works on their skills. And then when they do the little bit of prospecting, those are the people that says prospecting doesn't work. Yeah, you're right. It doesn't for you. But when you work at it, you're going to be able to overcome a lot of these objections. The other thing is I have unproductive work habits. Habits is something that we have to be very careful with. We all have habits. There's all different kinds of habits that we have. The question is, do you have productive or do you have non-productive habits? The next one is I can't handle rejection. Okay, acceptance, or for that matter, embarrassment. I don't know. If I tripped and fell, would I be embarrassed? Probably, okay? But at the end of the day, with what we're doing, whether it's rejection or it's acceptance or it's a version of embarrassment, it doesn't matter. The client, the buyer, the seller, they don't care. Okay? And for that matter, does your family care? Of course they do. I mean, they're expecting you to show up to work and then come home and, bring the bacon. Okay? Not sit there and be worried about the fact that you stumbled over your words, or because you looked stupid, or because you had a booger in your nose while you were door knocking. It doesn't matter. What you want to do is you want to be in a position where you're constantly looking at improving yourself. Another reason is I don't track my numbers. Hey, we're going to talk about this in another video, but I want you to track your numbers, and there's going to be some benefit in regards to that. Remember the word sales number. Sales number. Okay. Now, the reason I want you to think of this sales number is because in your tracking of numbers, this is going to become an important factor. And we'll talk about that in another video. But for right now is I don't track my numbers. I'm not getting fast enough results. We're in a society, and by the time you're probably watching this, we could be in an even faster society. And the society that I'm referring to is with what is called a microwave mentality. As we're progressing, just the expectations is we want everything done faster, quicker. How do I get this done now? How do I get these results? If I take 2 pills every single day, will I lose weight faster? In prospecting, it doesn't work that way. It's going to take a lot of effort. It's going to take a lot of energy. It's going to take a lot of rejection. But I assure you, you're going to get the results. So before you start finding yourself, quitting, as most realtors will do, and I would encourage you, if you're asking of me as far as a time frame is concerned, I would say at least give it 6 months before you start to think about quitting. And I don't care what that is. Paying for leads, if it's farming or if it's, prospecting, you got to give it at least 6 months, because this business does not happen overnight. Another thing is I have a basic fear of prospecting. That's a very fair point. Okay? And why do we have a basic fear of prospecting? The reason we have a basic fear of prospecting is simple. One of 2 things. Number 1 is going to be our ego. It's okay, everybody has one. But the thing is that how big is your ego and how much is it getting in the way? And number 2 is just, of course, the not being prepared, not being skilled enough, not knowing what to say, going back to some of the things we talked about earlier, which again, ironically, that goes back to ego. So keep your ego in check. It's going to be really important. This next point, the sooner we memorize and internalize the prospecting scripts through practice and role play, the better chance you will have of staying on your schedule. There's 2 parts to that, memorizing and internalizing. What's the difference between memorize and internalize? Memorize is knowing the words. Okay. I probably would say, think of, like, for example, a high school actor or actress doing a play at their school. Now, I'm not trying to put any one of them down, because there's some really good, obviously talented actors and actresses that are in high school. Or you can look at the internalized version, and the internalized version is, for example, watching an Academy Award type movie, or somebody that just won an Oscar. They don't just win an Oscar just simply because. These people win these awards because they became the character. So in memorize, all you do is know the words. Where in internalize, you actually become that character. So I want you to understand this part, because as we talk about in other videos, this part is going to be an important factor. Okay. Now, how does that show up? I'll give you a quick little example. In one of the scripts, the just listed script, the memorized version is, "Hi, my name is Robert. I'm with Premier Realty Group. And the reason I'm stopping by is because I just listed a property for sale right around the corner from you." That's a memorized version. That's boring. The internalized version is, "Hi, my name is Robert. I'm with Premier Realty Group. The reason I'm calling is because we just listed a beautiful property. It's right around the corner from you. It's a 4-bedroom, 2-bath house. It's right around the corner from you, about 2 blocks north. And believe it or not, we just listed it at," do you see the difference? Memorize versus internalize. Moving on to the next one. Practice and role play the most common objections you receive while prospecting. Identify the ones that you get most often and spend more time on them. Using the Mike Ferry objection handlers, there's actually a download you can get, which is the 40 objection handlers. But in most cases, what I'll end up identifying is you're going to have anywhere from 6 to 8 of the most common objections. Now, that's your objections. Those are the things that you most commonly get. I'm not saying you're not going to get the other ones, but there's going to be 6 to 8 of them that are in most cases the ones that you get most often. Why? Because you have a certain speaking pattern and you have a tendency of moving people into this direction of a conversation. And in that direction of the conversation, people are going to go and normally ask you these type of, or give you these type of objections. When you're prospecting, write that objection down. Get another one, write it down. And then what are you going to do? You're going to role play that tomorrow. So tomorrow you're going to role play the objection you got today. The day after that, you role play the same objection. And then what you'll do is you basically, the person you're role playing with, you don't tell them and you listen to see how they respond. So I'm going to encourage you to make sure you are every single day writing down your most common objections. Ask your role play partners to be tough. Now, because it makes you a better prospector, but always end your role play on a positive note. So a couple things on that. Your role play partner should not just simply be, yes, okay, understand, okay, yes, let's meet at 3 o'clock. That's unrealistic. Have them be tougher on you. Okay. Again, going back to the example that I just gave you, maybe have them play the role of the objection you got yesterday. Probably I'll go first. I'm the person that actually has the objection that I've taken down. And then I will be basically the consumer, you be the agent. I give you the objections that you're dealing with. And then I'll say, hey, why don't you role play in return with me the exact same situation? So now it gives me the opportunity to not only listen to the response as to the other person, but I'll get a chance to, let me give it a try myself. Okay. The other part of it too is that your role plays, you want to finish on a positive note. Always finish your role plays on a positive note. I'm not saying roll over, but you do want to be in a position where you finish with a yes, let's go ahead and meet. Okay. So you always want to close on the positive because again, we got plenty of negatives. Now, don't be afraid to practice your scripts on the person you are talking to on the phone. They don't know that you are practicing. So yeah, I mean, you make 30 contacts a day, it's fine. Just keep going at it. Contact number 1, practice on them. Practice number 2, number 3, number 5, number 10, number 20. Keep practicing. Heck, practice for an entire week, practice for an entire month. Because after all, at least for me, my goal is to be in this for long term. Hopefully it's yours. The hardest call we make is often our first call of the day. The very first call of the day. Call a past client, center of influence, which will bring positive feedback, which boosts our confidence when we start prospecting. I'd go even a step further. Call lead follow-up, somebody that you're ready to set an appointment with. Call a strong lead. Call, of course, going back to past client center of influence, you're preparing your numbers. I got to call this person before they go to work. So call some of those just to kind of get a little bit of that positivity going. Always have available your database. Okay, always have your database list available and a list of people that you'd like to talk to. Always have it available. Now, I would encourage you to create a master database list. Have a one-liner of every single last one of your past clients, your family, your friends, your associates, your vendors. And then that way, when you do find yourself struggling with either making contacts because your contact per hour is low, or number 2, I need to have a positive conversation. So let me go ahead and call my cousin Joe. Now, since you're going to be prospecting for the rest of your life, work daily on your mindset. Prospecting is a major part of your job. Now, the way that I describe mindset, it's kind of like, for example, you go and buy the nicest, most beautiful car ever, $100,000, $250,000, $500,000, $1 million car. Our mindset is like the tires to that car. We never really think about it until we get a flat tire. Okay, so imagine trying to drive $1 million car with flat tires. It's not going to happen. It's the same thing that happens with us. You can show up physically, you can look at your goals, you can do all of these things, start going through your prospecting, working on your skills, doing your lead follow. But if your mindset is not in the right place, it makes it that much more challenging. Now, we need to work the following lead sources daily. The most important one, and you'll hear me say this over and over and over again, is of course our database. That's our past clients, our family, our friends, our associates, and of course our vendors. The next thing is going to be expired listings. Of course, expired listings are those that just came off the market because they didn't sell. That's a great source to go after. Another one is for sale by owners. I mean, after all, they've already raised their hand and said, hey, I want to sell my house. So why not go after them? How about calling around a listing? You take a listing and you call around it and you tell them that we just listed or we just sold that property. That's one of the best things that you can do is take a listing, put a for sale sign, sell it very quickly, put a sold sign and call around and tell everybody you did that. That was me. Yep. So do that. Next thing is my personal favorite is knocking on doors. Why is this my personal favorite? It's because doors are endless. You can have as many conversations, you can make as many contacts as you want throughout the day, and they're a great form of being able to generate leads. It's a great source. Now, call the for sale by owners and expired listings by 8 a.m. if you can. And until you reach them, if you cannot reach them by phone, go to their front door. So basically on this point with expireds is get on the phone right at that 8 o'clock and call them. We have other videos which will talk about it, the plan of attack for that matter, or the mastery of expireds. And I want you to listen intently on that video about why I want you to start at 8 o'clock, specifically with expireds, and for that matter, for sale by owners as well. Now, you need to make a minimum of 10 contacts per hour. Again, 10 contacts per hour when you prospect. You also need to prospect a minimum of 2 hours per day, no matter what your goals are for basically the year. So 2 hours, 20 contacts. Now, for me, I think that's way too low. But at the end of the day, if you are maybe having a little bit of a rough day, you're having a day that you have all kinds of appointments, you got all kinds of things, that should be your absolute bare minimum standard. It's going to be that of 2 hours and 20 contacts, not just 2 hours. I want you making 20 contacts. Now, what I want you to do is, of course, turn off your phone, social media, and computer. Don't check your voicemails we talked about or email until your prospecting is complete. Don't do that. Just imagine you're finding yourself in a position, you're prospecting, you're going through, you're making call, you're not having too bad of a morning in your prospecting session, and all of a sudden you go and open up your email and you look, cancellation. Oh man, where are you going to be at mentally? You're probably going to be frustrated, right? So be careful in regards to doing that while you're prospecting. Most of our distractions, and distractions are huge when we're prospecting, most of our distractions that come up during prospecting are self-imposed. Clean up your prospecting area to keep your mind clear. Why are they self-imposed? Well, we go grab our phone, we look at Facebook, Instagram, social media, whatever that may be. You open it up, and the next thing you know, you're scrolling, and next thing you know, you're 40 minutes into going through your social media or email or whatever you want to call it. Okay, so be careful with those distractions. Start prospecting at the same time every day and finish at the same time. I'd encourage you to start at 8 o'clock. By 8 o'clock, that phone's got to be ready to ring. Now, have a conversation with your accountability partner before you start and once you finish. Start on time every day and try to finish as close to the same time every single day. If you're doing 10 contacts an hour and your daily contacts goal is 30 contacts, well, you got 10 between 8 and 9, another 10 and another 10, so 9 to 10. So now you're at 11 o'clock and you're done. You got your 30 contacts in, you go about the rest of your day, you do your lead follow-up, go do some admin, grab some lunch. Now you go about the rest of your day. Since we all get bored, which we all do, with prospecting at times, focus on the long-term payoff versus the rejection of the moment. Always have your goals posted in front of you when you prospect. Okay, so have your goals posted, put them right there. Okay? Because a lot of times you're going to find yourself where you're prospecting, you get rejected, you get this person that tells you to screw you, F you, all of this other stuff. Then you get the opportunity to look at your goals and you say, this is the reason why I'm doing this. Because I want this house, this car, this boat, I want to take this trip, I want to get this new suit, whatever that is. That reminds you why you are doing this. The other thing is, remember, the physical and mental environment that we keep while prospecting is critical to the results that we get. Physical and mental environment. Okay. How does this show up? Well, just imagine. Now, I'm not saying don't work from home, but just imagine you're working from home and you have kids in the background that are yelling and screaming and, mommy this and daddy that. How productive are you going to be? Probably not very productive, right? So you want to be in an environment that is going to allow you to be focused, to be intentional, to get the results that you desire. So look at what that environment is. And again, I'm not saying don't work from home. I'm just simply saying make sure that you understand what your environment looks like and consists of. This is a big one. Now, what I want you to do is keep your ego in check while prospecting. There's no need to tell prospects how great you are. No one cares. I mean, you're sitting there, you're on the phone, you're prospecting. My name is Robert, I'm with Premier Realty Group, blah, 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 blah. Oh my gosh, do you even know who I am? Do you know how long I've been in the business? Do you know how many deals I've closed? They don't care. They don't want to hear that. Keep your ego in check. Okay? So if you find yourself saying anything along the line of I or me or this is what I've done, nope, that's not where you want to be at. What do they want to hear? They want to hear about them. They want to hear about them, not about you. Everything in prospecting has to do with numbers. If you don't know your numbers, you can't go to the next level. Okay. Now, how does this show up? I talked about sales number earlier. For me, I'll give you this number. So I'll give you a quick little example. Every single day, early on in my career, I would knock on 100 doors. Of 100 doors that I would knock on, I would get anywhere between 40 to 50 contacts very consistently. I mean, of course, there'd be some days I'd get 37, 35, it'd be an off day. And then there'd be other days where I'd get 52, 53 because it was a great day. But on average, it'd be right around 40 to 50. Using that number of 40 contacts, I would get anywhere between 4 to as many as 6 names and numbers. Not leads, just names and numbers. Now, of the 4 to 6 names and numbers per day, it would take me 20 names and numbers so that I can go ahead and set 2 appointments. So my ratios were 10 names and numbers for every 1 appointment. Now for me, I'd go on 10 appointments and I would come back with 8 contracts signed. That was a very consistent number. So the sales number, how does that work? Over a long period of time, you're sitting there tracking your numbers. Let's just use an entire year as an example. You make 10,000 contacts. And of those 10,000 contacts, that gave you 100 paychecks. I know this is a big number. What that basically does though is you take that 100, you divide it into that 10,000, that's going to give you another 100. What is that 100? That is your sales number. Okay, that's basically means for every 100 contacts, you're going to get a paycheck. Okay, so that's where I want you to kind of pay attention to your numbers. Now remember, you're the only person in the way of finding the next prospect who wants to sell or buy from you. Okay? You're the only person in the way. So your job is to, of course, stay on script and ask them if they're interested in buying or selling. Now, remember, prospecting is not about you. I just said this. It's about them. Okay? Now, keep the conversation on them. Some of my favorite questions were always what's the benefit of making this move? How is this going to impact you and your family? Why is this move so important? Who's most looking forward to making this move? Those are what are called motivating questions. I'm not telling you to change the script. What I'm telling you is stay on script, but it's naturally going to pull us off. And when you get pulled off, you use some of these secondary questions, which are ideally on their motivation, to bring them right back. Now, while prospecting, stay mentally focused on the following thoughts. We're almost done. Number 1 is, there is somebody in my marketplace that wants to buy or sell today. Let's find them. Think about it. Every single day, there is somebody that is looking to buy or sell. And I'm saying at least one. You can multiply that probably times 10. But every single day, there's somebody that's wanting to buy or sell. Your job is to find them. Now, the next point I want to make is every no brings you closer to a yes. Now, on this, I don't want you focusing on the no's. What I want you to do is I want you to focus on the yes. Okay, so you're probably going to get a no, 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 and then you'll finally get a yes. What I want you worried about or focused on the no's that you got, I want you to focus on the yes that you got. Now, give you a quick little analogy. If I gave you 50 lottery scratchers, and of the 50 lottery scratchers you went through in the very first 49, nothing. Not a single dollar, not a single win, not a single anything. But and then there was that one scratcher that gave you $1 million. Would you be focused on those 49 lottery tickets that didn't produce anything? Or would you be ecstatic about the fact that you got that one lottery ticket that paid you $1 million? It's the same thing. But what's the natural thing for realtors to do? Of course, they focus on the 49 no's instead of that one yes. So I don't want you to being that person. Prospecting is a simple process, but not an easy one. Okay, remember that. It's a simple, not easy process. There are no shortcuts to any place worth going to. This is not a diet pill. Okay, prospecting is not something that you can sit there and take 2 of these and you'll have 6-pack abs at the end of the week. It doesn't work that way. Either you're doing your job, which is again very simple, not easy, but when you're doing your job and you're doing it on a consistent basis, you're gonna get the results. There's no shortcuts though. There are 3 opportunities for business with every person whom I talk to, and basically they are, can I do business with them? Okay, that's the first one. Number 2 is, can I get a referral from them? Who do they know that is thinking about buying, selling, or for that matter, investing? And number 3 is, can I add them to my center of influence list? Okay. Every person has that opportunity. Now, I'm going to ask of you to proceed with caution on this one. And the reason why is because I don't want you putting 1,000 of these kind of people into your database. Now, there'll be some that'll stick, but the majority of them are going to fall off. Okay, so be careful with that one. But it is a good opportunity. While prospecting, always keep this question in front of you. How can I help the person that I am talking to right now to get their home sold? How can I help them? What are the things that I can do to help them right now achieve their goals? Next one. I can't let someone else's response to my prospecting determine my future. Let me repeat that. That's an important point. I can't let someone else's response to my prospecting determine my future. Now, I didn't say negatively, or for that matter, positively. You need to understand that it does not matter whether it's negative or it's positive. You cannot allow that one person to determine your future. Because even if I do set an appointment and that one appointment ends up getting me a listing, and heck, who knows, that gets me 10 listings, that's not going to be life-changing career for me. Okay? Now, would it be a great payday, a great pay quarter? Yeah, heck yeah. But at the same point in time, even that one client is not going to make an entire career change for me. So stay the course, continue remaining exactly in the direction that you're wanting to go to. Now, again, we're talking about prospecting today. This is one of the most challenging things in our industry. However, it's the most rewarding thing. And I want you to understand this, that the more you prospect, it's a simple numbers game. The more you prospect, the better the opportunities are going to arise. My background is in baseball. I know I can't hit a home run if I don't swing. But I do know the more times I swing, the more chances I have of hitting a home run. So the question is, how often, how many, and where are you going to decide you're going to spend your time when it comes time to prospecting? Hopefully you learned something from that. Again, Robert Villanueva here. As always, I'll see you at the top.